How's everyone doing this morning? Happy Monday. See here, there's Corey, there's Anthony, Vanessa, seeing everyone's faces. So I know as people kind of funnel in on a Monday morning, hopefully drinking some coffee. I just want to see where everyone is coming from. So if you guys just can put your name and then also just like your city and your state on where you guys are popping in from. Stacy and I would love to see. We always like to see all the cities and the best thing Stacey and I always talk about is get finding storage facilities. You get to know some of the best towns like that you would never even hear from, which is amazing. Okay, so Corey's coming in from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Anthony, Bonnie Lake, Washington. I love Washington, especially right now as like Mount Rainier. I had a friend go up to Whistler. Vanessa's from New York. Good. Okay, make sure you guys put your city and your state popping in Portland, Oregon. You guys are getting, I think of Washington's getting just a ton of rain right now. Also, I just like before we kind of get started, Stacy and I want to know, are you guys beginners in self-storage or do you guys own a facility? Do you come from more experienced, say beginner or experienced in that chat right there? I know Anthony says he's underwater right now. It is absolutely wild how much rain you guys are getting. I guess there's like an I can't remember what they call it, but from Hawaii, there's a lot of rain from Hawaii that's come in and it's just being cycloned around, sucked around, and then just dropped on Seattle and Washington, which is crazy. Okay, so we got beginner, beginner, nice, core intermediate, beginner, nice. Yeah, atmospheric river. There we go. Anthony, that was the large term of the day. So, okay, we're gonna get kind of started for our just like presentation. We're going to talk about storage and storage deals and acquisitions and all the good stuff that's going on right now in this market. Let's see. Sure. Okay, give me a nice little nod. Say I can see this in the chat just with technology. Good. Okay, so Stacy and I, we're gonna talk about just like how to fast track and find like or buy your first storage facility like 10 times faster. And so what we really like though is energy. So I know it's Monday morning. You guys here on the West Coast and on the East Coast, it's like noontime. So you guys are like up and ready to go. But you guys, the most interactive person in the chat, you guys are gonna get a free 45-minute session with me or Stacy. So I want you guys to ask questions, be engaged. We are going to ask you guys some stuff too, because that's how we like to teach. So I just wanted to get that excitement going. So I know there's a lot of on-market deals popping up on LoopNet and Crexing. So Stacy and I really wanted to talk about these three secrets. So like if you guys come away with nothing, this is what we want you guys to come away with for today in this webinar is like secret number one, you guys, is how to find hidden self-storage deals that not even brokers can find. And then secret number two is like how do you actually negotiate? How do you talk to storage owners or brokers and make an offer to them, right? Having a storage owner meeting. And then secret number three, you guys, is we're going to kind of go through some storage case studies on real life students on what how they purchased their facilities, how they came up with the funds, and what that looks like from like a value add perspective. And so just want to make sure, you guys, if that would be worth it, put a yes in the chat. Do you guys feel like this would be worth it for you guys for this 1 hour? Put in the chat, just go to the chat. We just wanted to make sure because I know we've got a mixture of you guys coming in here today from beginners to advanced to intermediate. Good. Okay. People said yes, yes. Awesome. Okay. I love the energy. So we're going to kind of introduce just ourselves. If you guys don't know who we are, my name is Brie Hartman. I actually live over in Sacramento, California. And so, guys, in the last 5 years, we've acquired over $6 million worth of self-storage, so over 100,000 square feet. And, for me, that big result was time freedom, with my daughter to do like what I want with who I want, when I want. And so that was really like looking at my lifestyle and kind of like reverse engineering that. And so that's something that's important. I know not everyone wants, life, time freedom, and I had a W too. So I wanted to kind of like tell this story is that, I was just like you. I was working actually for the state of California. I was a field biologist for 7 years. I worked about 40 to 50 hours. I was in the field. We did a lot of big game captures and doing hunting permits, predator and prey interactions. So I definitely wanted to hear you guys, how many of you, went the traditional route? My dad was like, go, go get a state job. It's secure. You get paid once a month. You get a pension. You work, 40 hours a week, and that's the goal. Like, I want to hear in the chat, like, if you guys went the traditional path, went and got a college degree, and then it was like, okay, I'm sitting here at a cubicle and I'm not quite sure. Like, I know I'm meant for more. I know Billy said yes, sadly, yes. And so, W-2s are great, absolutely. But it's also being like, you know what, we can do things differently. And I know that you guys are here, today, either at your lunch hour or, having, breakfast with us to kind of hear about how you can do that. And so, very much for me, mine was like my parenthood, my life switch. When I found out I was pregnant with my baby girl, I was like, wow, okay. So I had a W-2, I had this career, and then I actually had opened up a gym for 3 years. And so it really like forced me to kind of like rethink my life where I'm like, you know what? I've been working 60 hours a week and I want this freedom. And so I'm either going to go big. And so when when you have your first kid along the way, you're like, you know what? I have nothing else to lose. And so that is how I found self-storage, was on a podcast. When I heard them say like no toilets, no tenants, no employees, less issues and more cash flow, I was like, that's what I want. And so this was something that, these are a couple of our, first couple facilities that we purchased. I just wanted to show you guys. Never thought I'd buy a facility in Louisiana. We bought two in the matter of 6 months, and then we continued to buy more. But our first facility was with an SBA loan, which is a small business association loan. And so we were able to put 15% down. But this was one of the facilities that really started, I guess, my career in self-storage. And the goal is to own, 12 to 20 of these facilities in the next like 5 years. And so another facility that we purchased, was about 5 months later, and it was right next to this other facility. We bought it with seller financing. So we put $75,000 down. That was it. And I had also bought a house, and I was like, wow, my storage facility is making $4,000 plus cash flow a month, and my house is making like 400. So I really I want to show you guys, like what's possible. And so, what my life looks like now is, I think we own $6 million worth of storage. We're constantly adding, we're in the trenches right now, adding more facilities to our portfolio, and we remotely manage these facilities, from my home here in Sacramento. And so that saying of like no toilets, no tenants, no employees, less issues is definitely true. And for me, I really wanted to be smarter, right? Because I wasn't these young 22-year-olds that are really smart right now and buying all this real estate. I needed to kind of like go faster. And so now I get to go up to Tahoe with my little girl on a random Wednesday, and go skiing. And also we do a little tubing. And so this is something that has been really passionate for me, is being able to take off that time, have slow mornings, and then also to lay my head on a pillow at night and be like, wow, I don't have to worry about, immediacy, right? Because storage is, if someone can't get into their unit for goodness 12 hours, things are going to be okay. Now, if you have a house, you have to act like immediately because they sleep there that night. So this was my really big, just like aha moment, is storage has really allowed me to have this lifestyle that I really have dreamed of. And I'm constantly, putting work in right now to buy more and more of these facilities. So I just wanted to introduce myself. And then I also want, a lot of people here know Stacy Rossetti. She's incredible. We've been doing a lot of partnerships lately, and I'm really excited to introduce you Stacy Rossetti, and I want her to tell her story about how she kind of got into self-storage.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming and hanging out today. Let's see, what should I start with? I own 15 storage facilities in Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. And we have about 2,000 tenants. It's kind of nuts. And then I'm partnering in another like 15 facilities. And I used to, like, in 2010, I got into real estate investing, which was like the best time to get into real estate investing, because I bought what I did is I bought houses for $50,000. I put $50,000 into them and I sold them for 150 grand. And that was in Atlanta, right? Those were the good old days. But I started, like, if you guys remember, from 2010 to 2015, Um, like that was a really hard time to find money to do deals, right? Because that was right after the bubble and all the banks were having these crises and stuff. So I got really, really good at raising money. I got really good at creative deal structures. And so all those rehabs that I did, all the commercial buildings I ended up doing, all the rental properties I did from 2010 to 2015, I was using creative deal structures and I was raising money. I'm 100% privately funded on all the deals that I've done. All right. And so, and then in 2015, I ended up getting pregnant and I had 15 rehabs going at that time. And then I started thinking to myself, like, how am I going to manage 15 rehabs and at the same time, like, take care of this baby? And my husband at the time, he owned a home inspection company too, right? So when the baby was born, we ended up selling the home inspection company and we ended up buying our very first storage facility. And our very first storage facility was about 20 minutes away from our house. And honestly, it was a blessing in disguise because I really had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was that I didn't want to do houses. And I just like Bree said, like, you know, you make $400 on a house and you make $4,000 on one facility, right? So I kind of like just took that, I took that, into heart and I started really calling owners directly. I lived in Atlanta. I lived in Peachtree City, if anybody knows that area. I started calling all the owners from 2015 to 2020, and I ended up buying 8 storage facilities kind of right within like maybe a 30-minute radius of that area. And so then I really started to hone in on how to manage those properly, right? Because when you buy a business, when you buy a facility, you're also buying a business. And so my storage story and my story is that me and my husband are vertically integrated, which means that we manage our own properties ourselves. And my husband goes out, he's the one that manages the facilities and does all the work. We have a couple of people that help us, like, but mostly my husband does that. And then I sit here and I manage like our team. And we have people that find facilities for us, answer the calls, and then my husband kind of manages all the back end. So, and what I did was I bought all those facilities with the money that I raised or creative deal structures. And I bought all those facilities by calling the owner directly and asking the owner if they would sell me their facility. And so I'm really good at finding facilities and getting them under contract and then funding them. That's kind of where my strong point is. So I started really helping people to do this as well too, because it's kind of a hard thing. But my storage story is that I really want to retire next year. I'll be 50 years old and I'm going to retire. Okay. So we're in the process of selling our facilities. Now, obviously, selling 15 facilities is not easy. Okay. But we're in the process, like we've stabilized all our facilities and then we're going to sell them. And then my goal is to partner with my students. And that is what I'm doing now. And that's why I have 15 partnerships. So in the time from 2015, when I bought my first facility, to 2026, I will be selling. We're already have 2 under contract and we're slowly getting them under contract. And the goal is to kind of sell as many as I possibly can. We'll see what happens. I have been able to raise millions and millions and millions of dollars to buy storage, get in there and stabilize the properties, and then now sell them so I can retire and help more students do the same thing. That's my storage story, and that's why I'm here. So I'm here to help teach and guide you and show you what to do. But for anybody that's interested, I can help as well. Okay. That's it. That's my story.
And it's incredible. And I know Stacy is super modest. And so they also traveled around in their RV for, gosh, 1 or 3 years. Um,
7 years.
talking to 7 years. Wow. Yeah, talking to owners. And so I think, both Stacy and I have we've partnered together to create the storage deal room because both of us are very passionate about acquisitions, which is how you find these off-market storage facilities, how do you negotiate with owners. And so people definitely kept, coming to us and saying, like, hey, how are you guys finding these like off-market storage facilities that are not even, on Google Maps, or how are you negotiating and putting together like three-part offers? Like what does that look like? Can I borrow like your template? And so there was no other program out there actually finding these storage deals and helping people like cross the finish line, like a done for you program. And so that's when Stacy and I started talking. We're like very I was like, you know what? There's nothing like this exists. Do you want to come together and put it together? And so we've been doing this for the past, gosh, 6 months, and we're just starting to kind of like release and kind of share with you guys what this will look like at Self Storage Deal Room. So I kind of wanted just to show you guys, our bigger vision is really to help make, self-storage facilities that are off market more accessible. And helping you guys go through the process because it's 1%, right? Storage, I think people get so intimidated by the words commercial real estate and storage, and they get so caught up in the weeds of some of these other bigger things that they get stuck, and then they kind of like lose steam and stop, right? And they don't find their first facility. Because once you find that first facility, it can change your life, and then you literally just repeat it and do it again, right? Hopefully close nearby to that same market, but if not, it becomes an easier process to stack these storage facilities together to reduce your expenses and then also to expand your portfolio. So then you can be like Stacy, that's my goal too, is to own, 15 to 20 of these in the next, 3 to 5 years and have that, early retirement that you get to go. And she's excited. She's like, I'm gonna go to Portugal and peace out for a little bit. And I'm like, yes, yeah, it's like you deserve it, hands down. So, you guys, we very much, believe that you only are like one deal away from like changing your life in self-storage, and it's very true because you guys, we are in the business of running space. Like if a 78-year-old with a white piece of paper or the yellow paper pad can document each month, tallying it up, you can do it too. So that's something that I do want to kind of talk about is, that this is gets to be an easy business. You still have to run it like a business, but it gets to be easy, especially with all the systems that you put in place, and then also AI that's kind of coming down, our industry and avenue as well, which is really exciting. So we're gonna get started just right into the secrets. We'll show you kind of like, how to find these hidden self-storage facilities. Stacy and I were just on like an hour and a half meeting with some of our acquisition manager as well as our virtual assistants, and each one of them call 80 to 100 facilities a day. And we showed them, like, hey, these are still hidden ones that people aren't calling. Like these are the golden ticket if you can find them and just give them a call. Okay, so would this be helpful? Like, who wants to see some of these hidden storage facilities? Just put that in the chat. I'm like, I know some people have kind of seen some of this, but I want to make sure we're going to talk through like how do you cold call them, right? Like, how do you actually find them? Put them in the chat. Always, yes. And, two things that people are scared of in life is, betting on themselves, but it's actually cold calling people, right? It's cold calling people. It is getting on stage and speaking, which is scary, right? And it's going on a blind date. You don't know the person, right? So a lot of people will put off doing this. And, we had a storage deal room student close a facility because on his like fifth call, he was able to call the owner and then go out and meet him and take him to lunch. Okay. So this is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to open up my screen. I'm going to do a demo, but I do want to hear from you guys, cities and states that you're interested in. But what we're going to be looking for when I open up my screen is I'm going to preface this first so that you can understand how I'm looking at this and how I'm going to be a deal hunter. Okay. So we're going to open up Google Maps, which is free. We want to avoid REITs, right? So we want to look in towns and cities that are 5,000 people all the way up to 180,000 people. After that, I want to be on the outskirts. I do not want to compete with Public Storage, Extra Space, CubeSmart, Life Storage. Like I do not want to compete with them. I want to be on the outskirts, right? We're going to focus on facilities that either have no website or they have an awful website and it says GoDaddy at the bottom, or it has that like 1992, circulating E, like back in the day. Like it's wild. They made it through COVID. I don't know how, but that means that they're unsophisticated or they are still taking units and reservations only by call only, right? Versus just online. And then the last thing we're going to look for is 4-star reviews or less, because that can indicate that they are an absentee owner. Okay. So what I'm going to show you is we're going to go through. So I want you guys to put in the chat. Okay. And Stacey and I are going to pick one of these out, but give me a city. It has to be a city and a state that are on the outskirts. Think about this, you guys, 5,000 people all the way to 140,000, right? Give me a city and a state. I want to see in the chat while I open up my screen. Oops. Let's see here. Make sure. There we go. Okay, so I want to see. Come on. We need more. Atlanta, Georgia. That is huge. That's multi-millions people in those in that city. Give me a city. I need a city and a state within 5,000 people all the way to 140,000. If you can go into Google's, you can ask Google's. I just want to get some good. I want to take one from you. If no one puts New York, New York. Okay, maybe okay, New York, New York. That's different.
New York,
Got
New
it. I
York.
was like New York. Oh my
Does
goodness.
anybody have $30 million? There, they could buy
I
something in
know.
the city.
Because what we're target, I think what you need to understand is we want to not compete with rates, and we don't want to buy these multi-million-dollar facilities. We want to buy facilities that are $4 million and below, right? With creative financing, in third or fourth tier markets. And that is how you get some of the best creative offers, accepted is actually in those markets. And so not a lot of people talk about this, and they talk about small cities. That's kind of been a trend in storage, but they're not showing you where these cities are actually located so that you can focus in on your time. Okay,
Well,
let's
so for
go.
instance, while she's looking, I live in Tallahassee. All right, Tallahassee has 250,000 people. And there are a couple of storage facilities that are kind of like bigger facilities, but they're like super old. And if I don't want to buy them, unfortunately, because I'm just retiring. But if anybody wants to buy it, maybe I'll partner with them. But ultimately, that's the idea, is like 200 to 250. Like if you want a bigger facility, I would go into the 200 to 250,000 populations. And if you can't afford a multi-million-dollar facility, then you just go by population, smaller and smaller and smaller until you find the size of the town that you can afford. It could be 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000. That's all it is. I call it reverse purchase price engineering is what I call it, or something like this. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Okay.
that's really, really good. No, that we got Davenport, Iowa. Thank you so much, Corey. Okay, so this is interesting. So we got Iowa City, and then we've got, Clinton, and then we have this nice little river that probably comes through this town right here. And sometimes it says the population, but this looks like a great one. So what I do is just go into Google Maps. It's very simple. And I click on the tab that says nearby, and I write in self-storage, right? And I click enter. And so what this does, and StorageMart is interesting. They're actually based out of Missouri, but that is kind of like a REIT that we kind of want to stay a little bit far away from. But what's interesting is you have this Google Map pack that pops up, and with that, these are facilities that are on Google Maps, right? But they might not have a website, and they might have bad reviews. And then there's the true one that actually a lot of our virtual assistants look for, and they create lists for our students, are ones that are not on Google Maps at all. So we're going to kind of go through, and I'm going to show you a couple of these. And if we can't find, like if the city is definitely saturated by some of these REITs, like Storage of America, we might go a little bit more on the outskirts. But this looks like an interesting facility right here, even though they have a website. Like they got 4.6 stars, which is not bad, but they only have 5 reviews. We always like to look for, if you're really taking advantage of the online SEO, you've got at least 15 reviews or more. But I'm just fascinated to see what this actually looks like. So I'm going to open this up right here. And okay, not too bad, but look at this. So this is you can totally tell, true mom and pop facility, because even though it has a website, you guys, it does not, like, normally we know there's a couple of big when you start to become an operator, easy storage solution. There's a couple of
Yeah,
these
that
that
looks like easy storage
So
solutions.
I don't think it is. So this is not easy storage solution. So this is one that they created themselves. And what's you can tell is like call now. That's the only way that you can get a quote. on storage, which means they're unsophisticated and they're not doing this properly. Unless it says rent a unit here. Let's see here.
No, you just
Call
have to
now.
call.
So this is exactly like what Stacy was saying. Like you have to call them, like which is not productive, right? So at least they've got a little thing that says call now or start a chat. But I would call this facility in a heartbeat because I bet you anything you can probably get straight to the owner. Let's do another one. And sometimes if you go straight to the bottom of them, they'll be like, have not done their website in since like 2000 and, 8. It'll actually tell you. So here's one. Here's rental spaces. Let's see if it's actually storage. Near storage mart. Okay. So sometimes you'll see this. I just wanted to show you. This one looks like this one was purchased by Storage Mart, which is then advertising. So that is not the best one to show you guys as an example. Let me go outside of this. So I bet you anything, Comanche. Let's try this one right
Well,
here.
what's the population of Davenport?
It didn't say, but it did
Who
definitely
knows?
like
Put in the
it had some bigger,
100,000. Okay.
yeah. So
It may be oversaturated.
here's yeah. So and that's a good example. So here's one right here, you guys. Here's tons that have no website. A and
Okay.
B storage right here. So no website,
Which
you
town
guys.
is this? Oh, Comanche.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is like just right up the way. So if you wanted to get out of the hustle and bustle and still be on the river, like if you come up here, like this is a great place. People love their toys, and to have an opportunity to live on the river. So what I would do is like, oh my God, this is a beautiful facility. So someone, Corey, where you are, I see you. You should call them today. So take a look at this. Like gorgeous, right here on the main road. No website. Looks like they're more like RV. But look at all this land to expand on the main highway right here. I bet you anything they built this maybe in the past 10 years. But how you would start that conversation, you guys, is, you can call the owner and say, hey, is this the owner at ADB Storage? Is this Mark from AB Storage? And he'll be like, who's this? And I always like to start with saying, hi, I know this call, this might be out of the blue, but I drive by your facility or I saw your facility and I really liked how it was laid out. I just wanted to see if you would ever consider an offer on your facility. Stop. Like just stop. Let them answer. And so Corey, who might live by, he might, hey, I'm local. I've been wanting to buy a facility with my wife. Can I come and take you out to lunch? Right? Can I come meet you and take a look at it? And even though he says no, that you might not want to sell his facility or consider it, he might be very much open to meeting you and showing you around or knowing another owner down the way. And then you now have a lead point to follow up, right? Because even though they say no, it might mean no right now, right? But in 3 months, he might have something that comes up, right? So people have family emergencies all the time, and we actually get storage facilities under contract because of that. So I just wanted to show you guys how easy it can be to get on the phone, to call, to even see if they are open to considering an offer. Was that helpful at all? I just want to make sure. Was that helpful? And I would do this multiple times. Like there was like 5 others in that example on that city that had no website. So you guys should be doing that like today at your lunch hour. Let me open this up right quick. Okay, so but like look at these are the few others right here. So 3.6 stars. Like there's no reason why there should be 3.6 stars if you're a business owner and not managing it correctly. So I would call this one right here. It's a perfect example of a probably mom and pop facility. Yeah, like look how awful you guys look how awful that website is. Corey, second one to call. Second one to call. Look at this right here. You can't even rent a unit online, unsophisticated. Okay, so I could do that all day because I get really excited about it. And this is what Stacy and I specialize in is like how do you actually find these mom and pop facilities? And then how do you actually get on the phone and negotiate, right? Seller financing with them. So how many of you guys want to see Stacy walk through a storage owner meeting and like how you start negotiations? I just want to see in the chat. Like holy Windows 95. I know. I was like, Anthony, this is what's wild is that these people like it's because they're 100% rented and they've owned it for 10 years and they have no need to market because they're 100% full and they're happy with it. They don't fix something that's not broken is really the concepts when we talk to these owners. And to us, that's money left on the table and those are the ones we want to buy, right? So I know, okay, someone says, yep, okay, ready to see this. Rick says yes. Absolutely, it's something I really want to see. Okay, good. So I'm going to share my screen and Stacy is going to go through an example on kind of like how we correlate, like, or how we find these facilities, and then how do we actually negotiate seller financing and help our students get on storage facility calls with storage owners. Do you want to just go
Mhm.
right into the demo, Stacy?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will. So, and then, just keep in mind, like when I started in 2015 in the storage world, like it was about 75% mom and pop owners, 25% like big facility, big, like REITs, like what she's saying and stuff. And now it's probably about a 50-50 split. But, there's only a short time to get into this industry because all these bigger players are coming in and they're buying a lot of stuff right now. So like if you want to get into storage, now is the time to really start building your portfolio out. And the interest rates are dropping, and honestly the truth is like as we call, I've built up this team, and Bree and I have had Bree help me, but we built this team up where our like virtual assistants, they're calling and talking to owners all day every day, and there are a ridiculous amount of owners that want to get offers on their properties right now. And so we teach, like your job, if you want to get into this industry, is to learn how to put offers on storage facilities. And the thing that I love about like owners is they're all like storage facility owners are like me and Bree. Like we are open to those, I would say mom and pop ones. Like we're open to getting just like rando offers. We're open to getting the conversation started. We're open to creative deal structures. And a lot of times when you look for storage too, like you'll notice that like storage facility owners, they'll have 3 or 4 or 5 different businesses right on their property, because storage facility owners are really just like entrepreneurs at heart, right? So you have to you have to be able to connect to these people and talk to them like that, and make offers like that. So I teach, and I've been teaching for years and years and years, the 5 offer system. And so I'm going to go through that now, and I'm going to show you, this is what I've been doing since, like, not even for storage, but for any type of real estate. If you learn this system, if you learn how to make 5 offers at the same time, this will increase your ownership of investment properties like significantly. And what I'm teaching you, you can apply it to anything. Now, obviously, I'm teaching you how to run storage facility analysis. But ultimately, this concept of doing creative deal structures and making several offers at a time is this is not a new concept. This is just me trying to like show you how to do it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share with you. So the way that Storage Deal Room works is that we use Microsoft Teams in order to talk to everybody that's inside of Storage Deal Room. I'm sure a lot of you have used Teams before, but I'm going to just kind of show you, like, no, I'm not going to go through Teams and show you what it looks like, but I'm going to show you a deal that one of my students just closed on. Okay, her name is Cynthia, and she lives in San Diego, and her husband and her came from Vietnam here, like maybe 15 years ago. And they opened up a convenience store together in San Diego. And her husband really manages that. And then she said that she wanted to build her own business up. So she joined StorageNerds. She's like, I want to own a storage facility. And so she came into the acquisitions program, and we started looking for deals for her. And she ended up buying her first facility in California City. And then her second facility, she just closed on it on Friday, is in Connecticut. So she lives in San Diego and her facility is across the country. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you and go through it, and just kind of give you an idea of how it worked. So okay, so inside Teams, you have, like, this is what her deal looks like. I'm going to show this to you. Is that it is, let me see, let's look at this and see. This is what it looks like. So first of all, it's in Long Hill, Groton, Connecticut. Okay, this is what it looks like. It just looks like a regular storage facility. 90 units, 2.23 acres, built in 2000, right? So we can see it's kind of like, not like super big, but not super small. Okay, this is what it looks like. And I think there's a second one That's 88 units. It was 2 facilities is what it was. Okay, that she ended up getting under contract. The way that we found this owner is that we called them. We called them up and asked them if they'd be interested in getting an offer. That's how we found them. All right, just exactly the same way that Bree just showed. Okay. So we'll go through this, but this is kind of like, just this is an executive summary that we put together so that the students can look through the deals, correctly. So I wanted to just kind of show you that is what she got. And then we got the deal analysis here. Open up in Teams. And so it's 2 facilities. This is what our deal analyzer looks like, but this is just really, I'm showing you how to do deal analysis, okay? And so you can see together the 2 facilities, all right, are 178 units, 13,800 square feet. All right. And total together, both of them are 24% like vacant. All right. So occupied up to 75%. Okay. So, and it makes $172,000 a year is what it is. And so the way that you look at storage is you look at it price per square foot. Okay, price per square foot, that's the term. And so you could see here the price per square foot is $1.37. All right. And so when we look at facilities, we're looking at what is the current valuation of the property? What is the potential? What's the opportunity? What's the opportunity of the property? If we take it from 24% vacancy to an 8% vacancy, which is considered your opportunity inside the facility, that is what we're talking about. So it's valued at 1.54, and we're going to take it to 2.6, dependent on what your competition looks like and what the numbers, the price per square foot for your competition looks like. Okay, so when you look at this deal analysis here, okay, anything in yellow is kind of what we call your inputs. And so we're inputting, we inputted all this, and then we inputted this right here is your expenses, property taxes, utilities, insurance, what it's going to cost to close, any type of renovations or anything like that. And then also your management expenses, which is your property maintenance, your staffing. Property maintenance is really your boots on the ground person, plus like any repairs that need to get done. Your staffing is the person that answers your phones and the person that does your auctions. And then your software and your merchant fees is your website. And then also your like software, that you're about your property management software, and then your credit card stuff. Okay. And then any marketing that needs to get done or whatever. Okay. So these are all your inputs. This is what you're just inputting so that you can run deal analysis. This is your first step, is to input your inputs. So when you talk to the owners, your job, if you're going to call the owners, like in the one there, Dayton, Ohio, basically you're going to say, hey, like I'm Stacy, and I'm looking for a storage facility to buy. I live around the corner from you guys. Would you be interested in getting an offer? And they say, yeah, sure, I'll get an offer. So I'm going to need this information from you. And all the information that you're getting from them is all this information that you need in order to fill out this spreadsheet or a spreadsheet like this so that you can run your numbers. Okay. And so this is really step one of the process. Okay. Step two is what you're going to need is you're going to need your unit mix. Okay. So you're going to ask them, I'm going to also need like all your unit sizes, and then what is filled and what is not filled. All right. And then you're going to fill out your unit mix, and you're going to come up with, the price that's the current price, and then also what the competition charges. And so that you can do a competitive analysis, but you're going to really need your unit mix. Let me see the total number of units on this storage facility here. So you can see it all added up to 178 or 13,800 square feet. And it's right now $20,000 a month. If it was 100% full, it should be making $20,000 a month. And with the competition, it should be making about 22.5. Okay. So you see how you're doing current and opportunity is what you're doing. Okay. The next step is that you have to do a competitive analysis, right? Because you want to know, can I bring the prices up? Can I make more money on this deal, right? What is the competition looking like? And the competition is you want to make sure that you're doing a complete competitive analysis. And you want to know what kind of website does your do they have like a Windows 95, and then or do they have like, are they got the latest and greatest with like all the promos and whatever they're doing, right? So you want to know, what does your competition look like, so you know if you can spend as much money as needed in order to beat the competition, right? Because the truth is that you own a business, and the way that you get new tenants in the storage world is by doing online marketing, or like, making sure that you're marketing so you can get new tenants and stuff, right? So, and we always say in this industry, may the best competitor win, which is really in the industry, but I mean, may the best marketer win. I'm sorry, may the best marketer win, right?
But she
So,
was and then Stacey, will you talk about the like his like being able to bring this information, putting it together and then coming to the negotiation table. It's like
yes.
putting the
So now,
negotiation.
yes, exactly. So now we are running our numbers in 5 different ways, is what we're doing. Okay. So now we have like the financing inputs. So once you do the main one, and then the mix and the competition, then you're going to be able to run your numbers. Now, each of these like rows here are just calculators. That's it. That's all they are. And so you can see here that we've got 1.35. I see where she was playing around with this calculator, but ultimately she was running her numbers at 1.35 because that's what the owner wanted, was 1.35. Now we could have come in and we could have, you could have said like, you could just make up, 1.2, you could do 1.1, you could come up with whatever offers that you wanted. Sorry, put this in there. There you go. And then 1.1. Okay. And then you can come in. And so, so when you're making offers on the facilities, you will know that these things right here, your loan inputs, are the most important part of your offer. Okay. So the down payment, the interest rate, and then the length of your balloon, and how long you're going to amortize something, right? And then those parameters are either something that you need to have or the owner needs to have. Okay. So when you're talking to the owner, you're basically saying, okay, like, I really want to make an offer on this property. Like, what is important to you when I make an offer? Like, is it important that you get X amount of dollars per month? Is it important that you get, you have an X amount of dollars up front? What is the thing? And I've talked to many, many owners where it's like, look, I want to make sure I get $2,000 a month, or I want to make sure I get $10,000 a month, or I really need to pay this loan off on this thing and I owe $250,000. So really, I need $250,000. Or they may just say like, I just want to sell this thing. I just want to be done with it. I don't want to sell or finance it. But what you want to do is you want to run the numbers, and you want to come up with a whole bunch of different offers, and then you want to submit it, whether or not they're open, whether or not they say, no, I would never sell or finance this. We're still going to submit these offers to them, because what it does is it really kind of gets their wheels turning. And it really gets them to start thinking. And I'm going to show you what happens here, right? So you can see here that I'm just adding like the purchase price, the percentage of the down payment, the interest rate. You could have any type of interest rate. And then you can have your balloon at 5 years, you can have it at 7 years, and then you're running your numbers. So she ended up getting this at 1.35, and she ended up just getting a bank loan. So she tried to get it to seller finance, but the owner said no. But she got it at 1.35 at 20% down, 7% interest is what she ended up getting from her bank. All right. So she had to come up with $270,000 down. And you can see here that her mortgage is $8,300 a month, and her cash on cash return is 28% or 29%. That's an amazing cash on cash return, right?
Yeah.
And I told her when we found this deal, I was like, you have to buy this deal. Like, we have to get this deal. Okay. So anyway, so that's kind of how it worked out. Now, once you fill all this out and you get all your different offers and stuff, all you have to do is you have to click on, we have like, this is kind of how we do it. Just so you know, we have like, it's all built into the deal analyzer, but ultimately you are going to show the owner your offers in an offer letter. And you showed the purchase price, the monthly payment, the interest rates, the term of the loan, the down payment, and then how much money they would make if they were going to seller finance to you, right? So if he were to seller finance this at 1.25 at, a 10-year loan for 6% interest, and we gave him 250 grand over the course of 10 years, he would have made $500,000. And really, it's like, do you want to pay the bank $500,000 or do you want to pay the owner $5,000? A lot of times, like me, I'd be open to taking 500 grand over 10 years. That's kind of how I am. And a lot of owners are like that. I'd say probably it's a 50-50 split. You just have to ask them and you have to put offers in and just kind of like, see how, see what they're thinking. But so that is how we do the deal analysis, in a nutshell. And we just really, what we do is we really push making meetings with the owner, just like Bree said, like, hey, would you like to go to lunch? We do a lot of online meetings, face to face. We meet the owners face to face. And then if they're still interested in working with us, then one of us will go out there, the student will go out there and meet them and and like actually go to lunch or whatever needs to get done. But we do a lot of
Yeah.
online meetings is what we do.
And that's
Go
mhm.
ahead. Go ahead, Bree.
Yeah, no, and that's I think the big part too, like showing, like Stacy's so good at walking through these different steps, and it's getting on owner meetings. And that's what, Stacy and I have seen a lot of deals, people lose deals like this where they keep talking about the same thing and they don't start talking about numbers, right? And building that relationship ahead of time. And so when we brought the storage deal room together, like being able to have a negotiation with like me or Stacy on there, plus the owner, plus yourself, there's a lot of benefit to having someone else that owns a storage facility and then can help you walk you through that negotiation so that you can actually get them to a purchase sale agreement. So yeah, this was super helpful. I guess in the chat, you guys, who would buy that deal? Like all day long with what was it,
Right. I
28%
see a lot of
cash on
questions
cash
and
returns
stuff. So put your questions in, and in the end,
at
we
the
can
end.
answer the questions. Okay,
Yep.
as well.
And
We're trying to get through everything.
yep. So we're gonna go through you guys because we got so much that we love like to teach, but also like walk you through a case study, like a real life case study. So how many of you guys would want to see a case study of like, hey, this is how much we purchased it for, this is how much it was grossing, right? And then now we're able to add this value, and now it's at this, at this percentage or at this cost. Who wants to see that? I just want to make sure we want to see some real life case studies because you guys, we've had over 60 plus students close on storage deals. And so Stacy and I were talking like, well, who should we show, right? Who has these real deals? So we're going to kind of just go straight into Mark's property. Stacy actually just, I think helped close this property about a couple months ago with him. But I want you guys to listen to Mark's story, and she's going to walk you through how how we found it, how we got on that storage owner meeting, what the negotiation looked like, and then what was the value that was left on this table? Because there's a lot of on-market storage deals that the value has been extracted, right? And the brokers trying to be like, this is a great deal, and there's very little left. And so this was a perfect property that we were able to put under contract and then also add a lot of value really fast. So Stacey, will you walk through just like Mark's really quick?
Yeah. Okay. So and then, okay, just so everybody knows, like there's $200,000 deals and there's $2 million deals. There's every type of deal out there to fit whatever your parameters needs are. Okay, so don't think that this one deal is like the only type of deal out there. All right, I think we take Linda out? Is what we
Yeah,
did.
just because like we're getting close to time.
Okay. All right. So, and then, so I just want to make sure that you guys know that just because I'm showing this deal to you does not make this the only deal out there. Okay. And so, but Mark is, like Mark, he wanted a big facility is what he wanted. Okay. Like he wanted a big facility. Now, Mark, when he came to me, okay, so he had been looking for a storage facility for a year, and he had been putting a ridiculous amount of offers in, and he just couldn't find anything. He really couldn't. He just was having a hard time. He was struggling. It was like kind of this like mental thing internally and stuff. And I had talked to him like a couple of times, and he just never pushed. He never did anything, right? He never joined or anything. So then I was like, finally he was like, fine, that's it, I'm gonna do it. So we got him in, and immediately within like a month, he had this facility under contract. I mean, it did not take that long. This facility is in Abilene. Texas. Okay. So when Mark came to me, he only had $150,000. That's it. That's it. But he wanted to buy a huge facility. Okay. So just think about that. And so I said, I was like, look, I buy all my facilities. I don't want to put any money into them. So it's totally possible, you know? And so what we did is we called all these owners, and this facility popped up, and he immediately was just like, yes, like I'm interested. So he lives in Idaho in Coeur d'Alene, and this facility is in Abilene. So he flew down and he met the owner. We met the owner online, and we talked to the owners, and then he flew down. He was like, I'm interested, let's do it. And he like spent a whole day there and did the property and did his assessments or whatever, whatever he did. And this is go back to the picture so we could just look at that real fast. And so yeah, it's all climate control. Just so you know, it's all climate control. And you see that little patch of land to the right of the parking? That is also included into the property. Okay. So this property, the owner wanted $2.5 million. It was making $30,000 a month is what it was making. Okay. They wanted 2.5. So already, what's that? How much is 30 times 12? $360,000 a year for $2.5 million. Already, honestly, that was like a great price. But the truth is that this had a ridiculous amount of upside, When we were running the numbers, the value of this property landed between $5 and $6 million because it's climate control. So, typically a non-climate control facility is around, let's say, market value about 75 cents a square foot, and climate control is about $1.50. Now that depends on kind of where you are in the country, but in Texas, it's around $1.50. Okay. So he bought this facility. So he only had $150,000, remember? So he needed to purchase this facility. He needed $600,000. Okay. So where is he going to get 450 grand? What is that? 500 grand or whatever it is. So where is he going to get that? So what we did is we raised the money for that deal. I helped him to raise the money. So we started a company, and then we ended up doing a syndication, and he brought in, I think, 5 or 6 other investors. We brought in other investors. I was part of it. We brought in other investors, and we came up with the 600 grand. So all of us together created a company, and we had this money for the down payment, and we got an SBA loan. It's a 504 B. Is it 504? I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
It's 504. Yeah. And it's like a 10-year loan. And it was really low interest rate too. It was like super low. It was like, I think maybe 6.5%. This was back in May of this year. So he has owned this property for about 6 months. He has already taken this property from $30,000 to $45,000 a month. Nuts. All he did was come in, clean it up, raise rents, and he took it from $30,000 to $45,000 a month. I know, because I get quarterly payments on this thing. Okay. And of course, obviously, and then so after he closes, we meet on a regular basis and go over the deal and stuff like this. But I mean, honestly, the thing is that all we had to do was call the owner and ask them if they were interested in talking to us. And they had not even been thinking about selling until we called. And so now what happened, just so y'all know, that little patch of land, he's gonna add more units. So we went back to the investors, and he asked all the investors in the company if they'd be interested in putting more money into the deal so that we could borrow money to build more units. And so we did. We all put money into the deal. And then now he bought the land. And now he got like a loan where he bought the land, and he has enough money to build the next phase. And this property is an amazing deal. And so this is kind of one of the deals that you can do. We can do any type of deal in the storage deal room, but ultimately my job was to help him to syndicate, go through the process of learning how to do that, walk him through all that, find the property, obviously, hold his hand, help him to sign the deal and figure it out, and the structures, talk to the owners and stuff, help him through all the due diligence. That's what we did.
And
Okay.
that's what the specialty is. Like Stacy and I, we like to find these properties that are true value add, and that you guys can purchase, from it could we see things anything from 5 million below. Also, we've had students close at 350,000. So, we really see the best of both worlds. And if you get good at, one thing, it's being a deal hunter, right? Like if you find a deal, you have the power, really, because you have the opportunity in your hands to go to other people that are like, oh, I have money and I don't have an opportunity and I want to invest in self-storage. And so that is definitely kind of like what we came to. We're like, hey, like let's find where we can actually get, buy these storage properties from storage owners and help people close and not just run in circles. And so I just wanted to see you guys just having some like aha moments tonight or today. Like what was like the biggest aha moment that you guys had? What was helpful, just from just this session? I want to see just in the chat, like what stood out to you that you're going to take action on, right? Like we walked you through a lot, right? And that's what we are very good at is just being like, hey, here's a lot of what we've done in the past. We open up the curtains, we show you guys, what we've done, and then we walk you through those steps. So I want you guys to go. What was something did you guys want to, are you learning about finding deals, negotiation process? Like what was one thing that you want to come away with? And the reason why I love coaching and teaching is because if we want people to have that full circle effect. If you don't say it, you're not going to take any action on it, right? Consider cash on cash returns. Absolutely. I should be seeing that Anthony says mapping out an area to find what really is out there and also the beginning stages of making offers. Hands out. Absolutely. I can do this remotely. Absolutely, that you can also help us, hands down. The amount of income that you can make, find deals was a great help. Good. We wanted to show you the full encompassing, like these are real deals that are happening today. And we have students that are closing. We had one guy close on Thanksgiving or 2 days before Thanksgiving. We have a couple more facility people under contract within, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. And so we really have, we've been seeing a lot more deals, you guys, right now come down the pipelines and people raising their hands that want offers than we've seen in the past 18 months. Okay. So that is the opportunity, at hand. And so having, you can absolutely do this by yourself. There's YouTube University. And I know Stacy and I get a lot of, comments and emails like, hey, I've been wanting to buy storage for the past 3 years. And when's your next webinar? And so, we like action takers because right now, like we have too many deals in our pipeline. Like we've been doing this for 6 months, creating this in the back corner, not telling anyone about it because we wanted to have so many deals waiting for, the students that jump into storage, deal room. So we wanted to just like introduce to you guys, and this is something we wanted to do in December because we are going to be opening the doors in 2026. And you'll be seeing more about storage deal room and our partnership. But storage deal room really is kind of like where you guys get the unfair advantage, where we have our virtual assistants, we have our acquisition manager, and we actually work for you guys, right? In finding like what is your buy box, and then we cold call and also send a lot of different text messages and emails to get you people to raise their hand and say, hey, I would consider an offer. Let's jump on an owner meeting and then let's close this property. So there's nothing like this, you guys, that exists right now, and we're wanted to create it because that's what entrepreneurs do is, find a problem and then create the solution to that. And so what Storage Deal Room is a 12-month, you guys, live self-storage acquisition program. So not only do you learn about how to like find deals and also fund them and put offers in and then actually operate them, we bring them to you. Like it is a done for you thing where not only you're not just buying education, like you're actually getting someone to help you with that process and so that it becomes seamless. Like a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And it took me 12 months to close on my storage, my first property, when it could have probably just taken me 4 months and then I could probably have went and done it again. Right. So that's the opportunity that we wanted to open up for you guys. We have 5 seats right now available. We do the one-on-one onboarding. You get an acquisition manager and you get us. So you get Stacy or I negotiating with you on the storage owner meetings, and then we walk you through due diligence, making sure that you're making the right choices to help you reduce that risk. And so just quickly, like how it works. So there's 4 steps just to make this super easy, right? So step one is like we defined like what you want to buy. So we have Marty right now who's in our program and he wants to buy He lives in Houston. He wants to buy in like a 2 hour radius of Houston, and he wants to buy in Louisiana. We have RVAs right now. Like we just had an hour and a half storage meeting on, hey, how's the cold calling going? How's the owner meetings going? And we've been sending him, 5 deals a week, you guys. He's like, hey, he's like, I don't have enough time to jump on these owner meetings, because of the holidays. So we just wanted to show you guys the capacity of we really tailor this custom to you. And then step two is we actually build your deal package. So we instead of a broker, right, that you guys are going on LoopNet and Crexi and storage deals are like 30%, above like what the purchase price should be, right? So it's too high of a price. We actually help build these deal packages for you. So we put it into a nice OM or a deal package. We put all the numbers that you need into the deal analyzer and we send it to you and say, hey, yes, no, and what's your offer? Right? And then we jump on an owner meeting together to negotiate it. So you get to negotiate your structure. And the power of that, you guys, is that you get to define, hopefully, it's seller financing, because that's what we're going to push, number one. And then number two, we're going to help you find that loan broker or local credit union that can give you the best interest rate and structure for your deals. Okay. And then step four, you guys, is we help you negotiate and close it. And then we meet with you every quarter to make sure that, like, hey, you're not messing up or you're not looking at your market supply assessment in a bad way where you're not capitalizing on the true value that's like hidden within your storage facility, right? You're maximizing that. You're not leaving money on the table. So very, very valuable to have this done for you. A lot of people pay for education and then they don't do anything about it. Stacy and I were so sick of like so sick of it that we're like, let's just do a done for you program that we can help and actually get people across the finish line. So I just wanted to see, say that like you don't have to do storage investing alone, and it's very true. I wish I had this when I first started because it would have been so much faster to get properties under contract. And the goal in this 12 months, you guys, is not to only just buy one, it's to buy two or three. Like I buy 1 to 3 good storage deals a year that I own, right, with as a true GP. And then I go and do it again. So it's about how fast you can actually submit offers and get things negotiated. And that is the true power, right, of buying and then adding them to your portfolio. We've got 5 pillars like that we're going to quickly just go through just to show you like the in-depth of what storage deal room really is. But it is, pillar one is real off-market storage deals. So just wanted to show you guys on the right-hand side. I mean, these are deals that we pop in there all day long. I mean, like we've got 3 to 5 good deals Monday through Friday, you guys, sending these to you directly to say yes or no. And hey, when do you want to jump on an owner meeting so that Stacy and I can jump on with you? Okay. So very, very powerful. If you have the deal, you have the power. A lot of people don't think about it in that way. And so we are becoming your deal hunters with you, which you can bring that to people that have money, friends and family, if you go to these holiday meetings, and you can bring them in to those deals if you have that power. Okay. And then Stacy's going to go over pillar number two.
So, and then somebody messaged like, is it off market deals? Completely off market. There's no Crexi, there's no LoopNet, there's no brokers. You're only talking to the owners. That's it, nothing else. If we talk to an owner that is like, oh, you need to talk to my realtor, then we don't even like deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just move on to the next thing because there's always just plenty of deals, anyways. But so the goal is to talk to the owners, and the goal is to meet the owners online first. So that's what we do is like, we just had our meeting with our team, and there's a couple of owners that just said, look, we want to we want to meet. So like, let's meet online. So we'll just make a meeting and just hop on there and just talk to them and just kind of get their story and connect with them, make sure they know, like, and trust us. And then from there, we can decide, you'll decide, or, we'll decide like, what's the next step? Are y'all interested in this deal, or do you want to just like skip it? Like, this is not something that you're interested in. And everybody in storage deal room has their own parameters. Everybody has a different amount of money that they can invest. There's not one person. I've closed 65 deals in the last 4 years. There's not one person that has ever had the same parameters as anybody else. Okay. And so, like, you just get in and look at deals and get that confidence up enough so that you can make offers, because that's really what it is making offers. Go ahead, Bree.
Yep. And then you guys, pillar number three is like pre-analyzed deal package. And so the power of this is yes, you can call owners all day long, but really getting A, their key motivation. And then number two, like getting the real numbers from a business owner is actually really hard. And so we do this for you, making sure that we're getting their profit and loss reports, we're getting their unit mix, their occupancy, and then we put this into a nice deal package so that you can literally skim through it and say, yep, I like this deal. Or hey, no, I don't like this deal, next deal, right? Or, hey, I like this deal. Let's make an offer together on this. And so you guys are actually not having to chase numbers or like wasted time going back and forth because it is sometimes a pain to get the real information from these owners. Once they finally send it to you, they feel comfortable, then we're able to kind of put things together and then start that negotiation process, for you. So it's pre-done for you so that you don't have to, go do the runaround. And a lot of people don't know like what to ask to actually get the right numbers because you guys, there's a lot of skeletons in businesses and how people run them, and they can share a lot of different things, but what is the true money in the bank is really important.
And I call that the dirty work.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's where everybody gives up is because people just don't want to be sitting there and doing all the dirty work, So that's really what we do. And it took a long time for our virtual assistants to get really, really good at cold calling, getting the information and putting it all into a package. I mean, it took from 6 months to a year. And so now they've been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years. They can do it with their eyes closed. My virtual assistants are amazing. They're amazing. And so, you just like, just kind of you just like let us do all the dirty work. And we'll get you in. Our job is to get you in front of owners. That's really what our job is. And then we will help you to talk to them, create a connection, and then be able to run numbers and put an offer in, and then go through the process of negotiating a really good deal. Like I have a student that they got a great deal. Oh my gosh, they got such a good deal in it's in Texas, down South Texas near Corpus Christi, a $3 million deal as well. It's kind of like another Markdale, honestly, but it took forever for us to negotiate that deal. So we were there going back and forth and trying. They got their CPA involved, they got their attorney involved, so it was a whole thing. And so we will be there to make sure and watch your back to make sure all that stuff happens properly. So that's really what the expert negotiation and closing support is.
And then so and absolutely. And so like the key pieces is I know RJ in the chat was like that's like spoon feeding and that's exactly the truth. Stacy and I have seen a lot of these good deals get lost and then into the weeds with you're trying to learn so many different things, especially when your first facility. And so we saw a lot of people lose deals and we're like, let's just make something where we can help you guys like find these deals and then walk you through that process. And so it's a yes, no, or a number. Like there's no other things that go behind that. And then you become a real storage owner and operator, and you have to think like an operator so that you can maximize and then go buy another one, right? And so, I always like to say it's like it takes one facility to change your life, and it's so true. The first one is always sometimes the hardest, and then you just start to add them to your portfolio. And again, storage gets to be easy, and it's finding those people that are doing it, and then, partnering or finding them and getting into a mentorship, getting into a community so that you can actually leverage, right, your time. Either you got time or money. And that's something that is really important to getting in. And so, putting this into like a nice little bow, storage deal room, you're going to see more of this as we kind of like open this up in 2026. And so this is very much a done for you program, a 12-month acquisition program where we customize where your buy box is. We do the cold calling, we get you on storage owner meetings, we help you negotiate it, which is the hardest, and then actually get under contract and then operate it, okay? So that you can increase the revenue. So very much, it's like you can do it, yourself hands down, but it's definitely more risky and you will definitely you learn really fast what you did wrong and then what you shouldn't do again and again. So again, difference is done for you versus, going into these education programs and learning and then still being like, okay, I haven't closed a facility and it's 18 months, it's a year and a half, right? So you really see the return on your value when you do something when it's done for you and then you can go do it again, right? So what we're doing is what we wanted to do is like a fast action bonus because it's 2025. And then we will be opening it up for a little bit higher of a price in 2026. But if you guys like book a call, in the next 48 hours just to have a conversation, it's me or a business partner of ours that owns storage. Like you're going to be talking to someone that owns storage, right? You not only get like the $5,000 promotion, but you also get unlimited storage market supply reports. So this is something that we have access to. We have partnered with someone that has the software that has all 70,000 storage facilities. So you guys get unlimited access to not only that data, but to create market reports so that you know if this is an oversupplied market or an undersupplied market, and then what rate can you actually come in at to make money. Okay. And then you also get, the bonus. Stacy is an incredible operator. Like she is so good. Her and Pete like have crushed multiple value add facilities with operations. So you get her operational blueprint, which is the whole point, right? You find the deals and now you have to operate it. So you have to operate it like an expert. So that's really important to know. And you have us in the back corner. So we are taking, 5 students. We're very transparent, just like about the process. We wanted to walk you through step by step because this is something that people have been reaching out to us wanting for, gosh, probably a year. And so finally, we're like, let's just do it. Let's create it. Let's get these students under contract, and then let's create something that you guys can actually go out there and have success, and then have this for your family. Because, I always say Stacy and I are not special. And storage, thank goodness, is like one of the easier asset classes to own and operate. You still have to operate it, but it is, we're renting space. We are renting space from a cinder block building, a concrete floor and a roll-up door that has no lights, so it really is not that hard. And then we can add different revenue streams, to this, which is really shocking that, both of us have like 6 different revenue streams at one property at one time. And it's not their home, thank goodness. So if you guys are interested in applying, we do have one student in right now that just applied in December and has just gotten in, but we are taking on 5 students in December for this bonus. And so if you want to have a conversation, you're going to jump on with Stacy or I or Kevin, our business partner, and we're going to have a good conversation and see if it's a good fit. Okay, you guys. So we wanted to open this up for any questions and answers. And, we're very, very, I think excited about this program, but we know like this is definitely working. We have so many deals that we've been sending to wholesalers because, our students haven't had enough time to jump on these calls and they've been passing by these deals. So the deal flow is real. If you guys want to see it on these calls, you're welcome to see it. It's something that we're very proud of because we've been building this for the past like 6 months, and Stacy's been doing it for years and years. So just wanted to open this up, but definitely if you are interested in like getting a facility and not just talking about it, like we like action takers because you got to buy facilities, right? And get on meetings and negotiate, and we're there to help you find the better facilities that actually have real value. And then we also will be the first ones to say, no, don't buy that deal. It's overpriced. And oh, by the way, the market, might not be a very good market because their average 10 by 10 is $40, right? So there's a lot of risk on the table for overpaying these properties, structuring them not so well with prepayment penalties. And then we also give you our lenders and banks and credit unions that they know storage and they know how to close them within, 60 to, 90 days, like really fast. Okay. So there's definitely a benefit when you do it with someone that has done it in the past multiple times. Like Stacey owns 20, I own multiple too. And we close these, I feel like every once a month or once every 2 months, we're closing a deal, with our students right now. So any questions? I'm opening it up. I know people have to jump, they're busy during this season, but anything that came to your mind, we'd love to answer this. This is the time, for you, and that this is the reason why we did. Instead of just like a webinar where we can't see your faces, like we wanted to interact. We wanted to hear, what questions came up for you, during this past hour. So anything at all. I know Corey.
We have questions. We have
Okay.
questions. So, when somebody was asking me about me, like the reason I partnered with Bree to start this so that we can continue to do this. All right. So that's why I'm just moving. It's the same exact thing. I'm just moving it so Bree can help me with it. All right. And then, once I start selling on my facilities, like I'm just funneling all that money back into storage through Storage Deal Room is what I'm doing and just partnering. So for instance, like I have a student, Luther, he just closed on his seventh facility and I'm partnering with him, and I'm really open to doing more and more of that, honestly. And so, honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all the reason why I'm retiring is because my husband is telling me that he's exhausted. And so, because we've owned 15 storage facilities for quite a while, and he runs around, and takes care of everything. So, and we're vertically integrated. So that means that we do everything. Now, obviously, we could go out and get a property management company to manage everything ourselves, but we built this company up ourselves. It's a family-owned business, is what it is. So we're gonna slowly sell off our facilities and then partner with Bree, partner with Luther, partner with other students. That's the goal. So I will always be around. I'm just not going to really be owning a lot of storage facilities. That's just it. Now, maybe one or two or three or something like that, but that's it. Okay. And that was one of the questions.
Really
Now,
good.
another question is there was a whole bunch of questions here, so put them down. What's the average time? Okay, are we watching or involved in the entire? Yeah, no, you guys are involved. Like you guys are doing the work, and we're going to be there to guide you. Like we're like parents, right? We're guiding you and telling you what to do, and then we're back there telling you yes. Now, obviously, the first month that you join, you just have to you get in there and start figuring everything out, and you're just coming to meetings and listening to meetings, listening, and then you need to build that confidence up to say, yeah, I think I'm interested in that deal, and it could take a week or 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, but ultimately, honestly, over the course of the first couple of weeks, you're going to start getting the hang of it. You really are. And then you have the rest of the year to buy as many storage facilities as you want. Okay. You will have access to all of our deals and you will be able to close on as many deals as you want. So like I said, like Cynthia, this is her second facility, right? Luther now has 7 facilities. So, we're just here, we're here to guide you is what it is. And we're not giving out the cost because ultimately you need to talk to us and just like see how it works. I mean, really just that's it. Like we want to see if you're a good fit too, honestly, because we need people that are actually ready to buy right now. Because we have so many deals that we really want people that, if you want to own a storage facility within the first, quarter of next year, this is the program for you. Okay. This is something that this is for you. But if you're just looking and you're just like, I don't know what I want to do, and I'm trying to figure out what journey I'm on and stuff, it's just a little
And
bit,
that,
like we're ready.
yeah, and that's the big thing is we do a 4 week boot camp where we have urgency. And that's the biggest part is a lot of people come into these programs and then they don't do anything. And so Stacy and I wanted to create something where, it's a done for you, but we are going to get you to be like, okay, we got to put in offers. Let's get you on storage owner meetings. And so there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that, they're like, okay, well, what does that even mean? But we get to go on with you and we'll guide you through like what to ask. And then the first meeting you do, you're gonna be like, oh, that was that easy. It actually isn't as hard as a lot of people think. And then we go start more owner meetings. And so the value, you guys, is really storage deals get lost with people that can't negotiate or can't ask them the right questions. And people can spin their wheels when, clearly we've seen multiple owners and we're like, okay, this guy's motivated, this guy's not motivated, right? Or this deal's not really the best one for you. Like we've told Marty a couple times, like, hey, this is way too small, way too small of a facility based on what you really want. And you told us in our onboarding meeting. And we make sure that we kind of like really guide you in the sense of like, hey, like let's put in offers because we have so many deals right now. And that's the competitive advantage is urgency. And then you guys speed wins. So speed is like also something like that can really win with getting your offer accepted because what is it? People that don't do speed kills deals, and it's very true. Is doing it in a manner that just takes forever, and then people lose interest right away,
And
right?
then also, Bree, real fast, because somebody asked about the price range and stuff. Like we took out Linda's case study. this time, but ultimately, like Linda's a student where she's a 65-year-old single woman, and she had 200 she has $200,000, but she we found a deal for her that was $200,000, and she only had to put $20,000 down to buy the property, and the owner financed the rest. And so I don't want you to think like, the price range is this, because and that's another thing too, is that this year, I mean, there is a ridiculous amount of small facilities out there. So if you're listening, you're like, oh, I can only afford 50 or 100 grand down, I can't do 150 or two or $300,000 down, then just know that there are deals out there, whether or not you come with us or not. There's a lot of great deals out there because we're finding them. In fact, we're finding a ridiculous amount of small deals right now,
Money.
which is really interesting because that did not happen like in the beginning of this year, and then also last year at all. We weren't finding hardly any. It was really kind of hard to fund smaller deals because the interest rates were so high and stuff. But now that the interest rates are coming down, owners are really willing to talk to us and stuff too. So if you need a small deal, that is also available to you. Okay. There's all kinds of deals. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you guys, if you're interested, just make sure you apply. You guys get the bonus if you guys apply and book a call within 48 hours, and then you'll jump on a call with me or Kevin, our business partner. And you can see the deal flow. You can kind of look at like what that process looks like. And then the last question I know we had was, yes, you can spread out the payments and a payment plan. That's something that we do, a couple times, for the right people who actually are, the who actually want to buy a facility. So that's something that we just kind of like feel out, what would work for you. And then Anthony just said, do you find creative offers better with smaller deals? Okay, or does it really matter a difference?
Yes. Like I just said, Linda, she got a seller finance deal, $20,000 down. And it was on like 5 acres of land. It was a 10,000 square foot facility on 5 acres of land. So I didn't go because like it's hard to pick which case studies to do. I really want to do
Yeah.
all case studies. But any type of deal, I'm gonna tell you anything that you're thinking of, we've done it. We've done everything. Okay. And then
Yep.
also another question I see is like on the management side. And I would say for the most part, most owners, I would say all owners are doing remote management, right? So like I said, Mark lives in Idaho and his facility is in Abilene. Now you may not understand that concept and how it works and stuff, but ultimately that's why you're joining us, is so that we can show you how to do things like this. Okay. So it's the finding, the funding, and the running part is all included in this. So like once you close on a facility, we are going to help you make sure that you are running it properly. And also we have the facility owner mastermind, which I lead every month. And so you get to, once you join a facility, I will be there every month and we get all the owners together to talk about like, what's happening, how you're running your facilities, they're talking shop and stuff like this. So that's available as well too. So like we do not leave you hanging once you buy a facility. Like we will be there to guide you and make sure that you're running your facility. I'll look at your P&Ls, all kinds of stuff like that. Just make sure everything's good. Okay.
Yep. And like we just had a student that went under contract, actually two of the students went under contract together, partnered together to take down this facility. And it was like 1.3 million. But giving them like you have a 30, 60, 90-day blueprint. And we give you an Excel sheet that literally walks you, this is what you need to do in the first 30 days, right? This is what you need to think
Yeah.
about and need to complete. This is what you need to do in the 60 days, right? And so making sure that you're taking those steps and you know that before you even, get started or ends like the process when they hand you the keys, we already given that to you, right? So yeah, really important steps because I think people get so scared about, the questions we get a lot is like how do I find the money? And then the second thing is how do I find the decent deals? And so we are with this program able to solve both of those problems and help literally walk you through it like a done for you program. So if you guys are interested, we have to run right now because we have to go to another meeting for acquisitions. But just wanted to say, like, this is something that we are really going to be opening up for 2026. It's going to get more expensive as, we put this out there. So this is very much you guys for 5 people in December who want to take action. And, the theme of this, December, everyone has their pencils down, but it's be due December because the people who are building this in December are going to have like the cheat code walking into January when the floodgates open. Like everyone and their mothers jumps in January for a hot month and a half. And so we already have the competitive advantage because we already have a whole deal flywheel that's been started, 6 months to a year before that. And we've got 70,000 storage facility owner numbers. And so we have things already put together for you. Okay. So make sure to apply, book a call, and then we'll jump on a call to see if it's a good fit. So thank you guys so much for, this hour and 20 minutes. Stacy and I really like walking you guys through this, and we're really thrilled about this program and how it's going to help people buy their first and then their second facility like 10 times faster. So have a wonderful day, and then we will talk to you soon. Okay. Talk to you soon. Happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you
Bye.
in the
Thank you.
new year.
Bye.
Bye bye.